year, and I'm looking at the ability to, borrow for businessmen to expand their businesses, to employ more, to cut down the unemployment rates and stuff like that. So we should be looking for single-digit inflation. Borrowing must be cheaper than we are having now, 35 to 40%. How do we expand, production? So these are stuff like, and as the vice president said during the campaigns 2016, 2020, if these fundamentals are weak, we can't be talking and be happy.
That's right.
Basically, so it's nothing for me to celebrate, but it's good. It's good news. Anything about inflation that is coming down is positive.
It's on the same page, the story, as that suicide headline that I mentioned to you today. And the health experts all citing the economic situation at present, still burdening.
Charlie, if you're hungry, thoughts that come to your mind, you have no idea. If you're hungry, when you are hungry, actually, thoughts that come to your mind, you cannot dispel them. People get hungry and they have all manner of thoughts, and some want to kill themselves, some want to steal, some want to do a bad thing to people just to make them survive. People do all manner of thoughts just to survive. And I think that the basic thing we can do as a country is to make sure that our people are at least comfortable.
Yeah.
The least we can do. We don't seem to have a certain sense of we want to help our people. We always are thinking about the people out there, high echelons, that's all. And for me, I think that's bad enough.
Yeah.
Very, very bad enough. Very, very, very bad enough.
People are not happy and comfortable.
No.
People are not comfortable at all. I've heard so many times people will say, but even when the salary drops, that money is gone. It's already accounted for. You've either had to borrow, to scrimp, to save. By the time the money comes, it's designated for all sorts. Now talk about even the parents. Before you've even eaten, you have to think about what your young one is going to eat. That type of pressure and toll it's taken. And I find that quite sad. The health experts here are saying top of the list of what is really stressing everybody.
People wanted to kill themselves.
Kill themselves is, they say, the economic situation. It's causing a lot of havoc emotionally. And what purpose is it having a populace that is depressed and happy?
They're not going to kill themselves.
They're not going to be productive.
Rent is killing them. Food is killing them. Clothing, school fees. This year, the children are going to vacate 4 times in a year.
Look at this.
So you have to pay if they are not in public school. You have to pay if they're in the public school. The teachers will come clandestinely at you to say support them, whatever it is. Electricity, water, food, transportation, feeding fee. You can't survive.
We're not surviving.
You can't survive. You find yourself in dire straits, whatever you do. And that's where sometimes you expect the government to focus at least and start thinking around those lines that, look, Charlie, me man for more bread. But the government doesn't care. The government rather says, let's burden share. Let's burden share. See, next month is May. Government says, I've deducted 30% of all public appointees, or if you like government appointees, 30% of their salaries. Why are you keeping the money? How much has accrued?
Thank you. What
are you using it for? It's a basic, very basic things. And people are suffering and everybody is quiet because nothing will happen. Absolutely nothing will happen. To the point where people are thinking of killing themselves. Come on. People are trying to now kill themselves. They are committing suicide. And you see, the government says, if you see something, say something. People are seeing something. They are saying something. The government is not hearing something. People are seeing. They are saying. The government is not hearing. So what would be the essence of me seeing and saying if you will not hear me or listen to me? Come on. 7:51 here on 3FM 92.7. There are also those who are in business who say, well, the drop in inflation is good for them. Yeah, and then that is going to improve their conditions. The Gutta president says, let it reflect in the prices of the goods that we buy. Is it going to reflect instantaneously? Because if I bought my things at 50 point whatever percent inflation in February, and I've not sold out that stock, and dollar has come down by say 10 cedis, I've not sold that stock in March or in April, will I sell it for cheap? No. Because I bought it for so much.
That's right.
I can't do that. I can't do that. So Gutta president has spoken, yes, but what is the reality on the ground? Like Naya Janto asked, what's the reality on the ground? Does the data reflect the reality? Does the data reflect the reality? It's sad. It's sad. Very, very sad. And I think that the government needs to do much more than just talking, because the government presently is just talking.
The fixation is on other things. They're fixated on breaking the 8, and that is where really I'm seeing a lot of the energies. If some of that passion was redirected to really mitigating the plight of the average Ghanaian, I think we'll see more strides. But it is clear, and nobody can deny me that perception, that government's focus is not on me.
Break
or
the 8.
They have other focus.
Slogan, break the 8.
They're not thinking about
break
my future.
The 8.
You can't convince me otherwise.
8. Everybody's talking breaking the 8. But before you break the 8, you need human beings to be alive and well to vote for you, to queue and vote for you.
Let's break the poverty.
Let's break
the stress.
Break the break those things.
Let's break those things first.
Break it. You are not breaking it. Poverty is there. Hunger is there. Starvation is there. Water problems are there. Electricity problems are there. School fees issue there. Rent.
School feeding.
Digital Zacchaeus is talking down the people.
Wow.
Digital Zacchaeus.
He says it is possible. That's what the latest slogan that adds to the many that we're hearing. We've heard of the GTP and so on and so forth. Now it is possible and so on. We're here. And we're listening with our ears peeled. Government president says don't merely be a spectator, be a citizen. We are fully immersed in that agenda. We are dissecting everything they tell us.
Well, what the president said and what we're doing are two different things. The president says don't be citizens, don't be spectators, be citizens. That's what the president said.
That's right.
So far we have been spectators, we have not been citizens, because it looks as if we have left the job for a few Ghanaians to be doing, and largely the majority of Ghanaians have decided that we are actually not interested.
It's not my problem. It's not my problem. I think William put it very, very, very
succinctly.
He talked about the middle class, which very soon is going to be eroded. I don't even know who is middle class anymore. Once they've figured out a solution to a particular problem, they just move on.
You spoke about people trying to get around the problem.
That's right.
So people don't have water from Ghana Water, they dig boreholes.
That's right.
They don't have electricity, they do their own solar system.
That's right.
They don't have roads, they contribute, they fix their road. They actually don't depend on government anymore. And that's where the danger is, because government, no matter where you find yourself, will find the ballot box to you, will find the property rates, business operation permits, whatever it is that you have to pay. Your obligations to the state will be brought to you. How you benefit from those things that you have paid is the other conversation that we are not having. The other conversation. And the last time William mentioned that, look, he lives in an estate where everybody is digging borehole. Everybody is trying to sustain himself because the state is not coming. So everybody is trying to dig a borehole to say, Charlie, what can I do? How do I drink? How do I bath? How do I wash? I would dig a borehole because the government is not coming to me.
It's safe to say Ghanaians are managing to thrive in spite of the government, not because of the government.
The black man is capable of his own affairs. That's what we're doing.
Yesterday, I was seeing some videos of a certain businessman at East Legon celebrating his birthday, 50th birthday. And I've been following the East Legon club, the executive club.
Executive club, yeah.
And I look at their ages, 60, 50, and what they've done and how they are living their lives. And I mean, I follow some of them from long time ago, like Despite, because of his music background and so on. So as we speak about the fact that the economy is bad, what are we also telling? That's why I was happy when President Kufuor introduced a certain ministry to take charge of national orientation.
Yeah.
Because President Nkrumah did a good job at that. I mean, he was always speaking to the mind of the people.
Yeah.
He wrote books and encouraged the young pioneers to read. I think if you come to Ghana, and I look at some of the things that young people are doing around the world, I think besides what the politicians are doing badly, we as a people should also have a certain orientation, so that when you are living your life, beyond and besides what government will do in the system for you, what are you also doing for yourself? Because when you are young, you should have a certain vision for your life. Do we speak to them like that? Because these are things that the school system will not teach you. No. So the media has an obligation, when we have the opportunity, to let young people know that there's something called planning. For instance, our grannies were having 10, 11 children, and we were killing sheep and goats for them. And we all know what that did. And we all know what that did to our aunties and uncles and to us, the generations that followed. Those families that had fewer children, educated them, we see how they are living. They have properties in airports, Eastlake. It doesn't happen out of the blue. It's planned. Some of them might have gotten their wealth through, ill, whatever. But I'm saying that those who plan, it shows in the generation, because that's what I said the last time. Life is sustained through generations. If you are here today, you have life, you die, the life will be in yours. So, you look at the Sedu family and you do the rundown, you will see that the grandfather did something.
Your forebears did well.
Something that is touching your life today. You check.
Yeah.
A few people will start somehow, but along the line, you should break that family poverty as a young person, so that your generations would also enjoy life. Because it is clear. You can't tell me that you always depend on what a certain government will do, because when they come, it will affect their families. All the political classes in this world,
they benefit first before us.
Their children will become presidents too. Look at how many of our presidents were sons and daughters of other presidents.
Akufo-Addo's father was a president.
You check.
Rebecca Akufo-Addo's father was a Speaker of Parliament.
Whose father, the president's wife? Yes. Check his father.
Yes, Speaker of Parliament.
Masa.
John Mahama's father was instrumental.
Go and look at Alan Dramatin's father.
Dr.
Akoto's father.
Dr. Akoto, that's right.
Dr. Akoto's father. Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. Go and check them.
Yeah. They were all
the Ibrahims belong to the Nyaho Tamaklo family. So the young people of today, when you are hearing about inflation is bad and you are just sitting there spending 100 years on TikTok, just misbehaving, your generation will come and be saying the same thing.
Some are making money off the
That's the point.
Space,
you see, I read a story about a young lady who is put together a business that is worth $1 million today. She started by, when she gets her salary, she will divide it into 3 or 4 parts and put them in envelopes and make sure that she spends what is in, maybe if it's for traveling, for eating, she makes sure that she spends that kind of money in the envelope and nothing more. It's a strategy that she
in Ghana.
No.
Oh, okay,
and she put it on TikTok just to educate people on how to stick to expenditure. But some of us, when we get our salary, there's no plan. No. I mean, when we get the salary,
will they chop or
even if they chop or right, must follow a certain plan.
No.
Because you know that the days are 31 and you are earning 3,000. Why do you go and blow 200 cedis a day?
Charlie, but William, sometimes the money comes to you.
Yes.
You have already bought stuff on credit.
You see that there's something called
it's true. I
you
think
lose
there's
gas.
some tight.
You see,
Yes,
you live according to your income. And that is even at the national level. That's why we are here today.
Yes.
Ghana was living beyond its means.
Yes. We're spending what we don't have.
You don't have. And even in basic life, you can't give what you don't have. So I'm saying to you, if you have the 3,000, do you know people are looking after people investing and they are earning 3,000?
Yeah.
How did they do it?
Yeah.
You go and sit at the bar.
I do that.
People close from work every day and they drink a bottle of Guinness or no, maybe not branding, a bottle of a certain stout every day.
Yeah.
Well, your salary is like 5,000 a month.
They live good.
I mean, not to play devil's advocate, but
You know what I mean?
But
If you drink one bottle of stout a day,
it's stressful.
and you can give them but you can take care of that stress in another way that will not take your salary. Chief,
Don't stress yourself.
but
trying to live good.
I understand William, but sometimes no amount of financial advice can replace earning more. Sometimes we tell young people, hey, squeeze your money, but really, what kind of life is that?
Yeah.
Every day.
What are you squeezing?
Sometimes, but William, sometimes it
this
makes
conversation
life,
we are having.
it makes life
This conversation we are having.
debilitating.
As in, you listen.
I'm listening.
This conversation we are having. Go and take the tips from all the radio stations that existed in 1957 to date. This conversation is the same. So you have to look. That's the point, because that's life.
See, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So I'm saying to you that those who are smart,
to be honest,
and look at the things
to be honest,
you were talking about suicide.
So
yes.
What causes suicide?
So
your expectations are not met, so you are stressed.
Apostle Abraham Lamte, he said something. He said, look, he said, there was a gentleman who was in church. He had his phone on while the pastor was preaching. The phone rang, and then it disrupted the preaching. Everybody in the church lambasted him. Giddy, giddy, giddy. So out of frustration, he just got out of the church. Because everybody, including his wife, elders, everybody, they were just talking about him. So he crossed the street, 10 meters away, found a beer bar, went in there, bought a stout, sat down. And out of frustration, because they opened it for him, he was just, soliloquying, talking to himself. And then he hit the bottle. It broke, and then the stuff came on the people. People's dresses were stained. And everybody said, oh, it happens. Oh, bye. And then the barman said, oh, take one more. This one is on the house. Then he said, I was in the church. I did not spill anything on anybody's dress.
The
small phone will ring. Everybody was chewing me. Pastor hold my neck. Doctor. So he said, from today going,
the beer bar
is my place. The church,
friendly.
They don't like me. And that's where we find ourselves. Sorry. We pay everything to the government.
I want to add what William is saying. Listen, in the grand scheme of things,
pay everything to the government.
They say somebody say, hey, I've apportioned my own. Sometimes I listen to financial advisors. I take my notepad out, and the advice they give to me personally ain't realistic, because not only do I want to be prudent. Ain't realistic, because because if you listen to the advice, you'll never enjoy yourself. You'll never go out.
You see, the point
what quality of life is this?
William,
Quality of life is this?
William, Helen doesn't want to conform.
Helen, that enjoyment, you cannot enjoy in a vacuum. You can't. Pasa, look, it's 8:04. By 1 o'clock, you see motorbikes around here. People are coming to deliver. Do you know how much it costs for the motorbike to get here?
The delivery is more than the food.
That's the point.
Yesterday.
In that same 1 o'clock, you see people walking out.
Yesterday.
Across the streets.
Going to,
you know what I mean? So if you think that your salary can bring you motorbike, let the motorbike come.
Yeah.
If you think that you can walk across the street, walk across. Don't come and say you want.
Yesterday.
That's life.
But Charlie, being a young person, even common takeaway, Christ, I was strategizing. What kind of
I'm
life?
not saying you shouldn't eat crowd. But don't make it
yesterday
to a point where you become
Adodi.
William, Adodi didn't try. But what are you doing?
Yesterday I was meant to order food. I didn't want to order.
Maza, you.
No, this is what's
pressure on yourself.
This is what's contributing to it all.
Don't put pressure on yourself.
Come on, beggar. A brownie who like then
you say beggar. Do you know how much beggar costs? One, how do you call it? Pizza. 120 cedis.
Oh, Charlie.
100, and people are earning 500 cedis. So you 500 cedis, you are going to buy pizza 120.
It's pizza.
Oh, Charlie.
Chief, don't go there.
See why you need pizza, Nibi?
What the pizza?
Oh, Charlie.
You the pizza? Pizza made you.
Adodi.
Do you know? Look. No, it's Charlie. A fact. Look, I'll give you a personal experience.
But when a business sad as a young person, I can't eat beggar free. I have to budget.
Masa, if you like, take it. If you don't take it. See, I'll give you a personal example.
The pizza will pizza you.
I'll give you a personal example.
All right.
When I got married, the cake that I used for the reception, at the time that I'm literally compelled to acquire a piece of land. At that time, I hadn't even paid for the cake. That means you have a cake.
Your wedding cake.
But I was compelled by a family member. He said, you have got some land. So Charlie, come and consider.
Yeah.
So I had to negotiate
offer acceptance and consideration,
and then sort out a few things. Today I don't pay rent.
Thank you.
You won't have an elaborate because you are William Esiedu, you are sitting on radio, you are sitting on TV, so you want to lead a certain life. In the end, you commit suicide.
This is true.
Yes.
This is
because true. You see me on social media, you see me on TV. I should go and buy, first and go and take a certain loan at 45% and go and buy a big car and sit inside. Then if the salary comes, before I get the advice, nothing there inside. What do you want to do?
Let's speak to Professor John Gachi of
the economy. What is the economy?
UCC. Let's speak with him. Prof, good morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine by the grace of God.
Prof, inflation has come down. You heard my colleagues. They down like that, but we pray. What do you say?
Well, I think this is only setting the tone for expectation of better effect of reduction. The reduction we have seen now is not reflective of what people actually experience in the marketplace. 45% is very high. I think we need to get to a point where it will reflect in the prices in real terms. But on the side of food inflation, we are entering into the main season. Some parts of the country, for some crops, they have started the main season. That will continue up to, I think, August. So that promises that food inflation may continue to go down. It is augmented by development in fuel internationally. And that will also have a better reflection in further reduction. So I think it has just started. We hope that it continues so that it can reflect in prices. But the 7 percentage point, the reduction in inflation, cannot be seen in the prices now.
And is it too sudden to expect that, or are we to wait any further?
I didn't get your question.
Is it too sudden? Some would say, well, this is just coming out, so it will take some time before it reflects. Is it too sudden, or are we to wait any further?
Well, normally inflation is a past experience. So what we are talking now is March inflation. We are ending. We are in the middle of April. So that is what we have experienced already. So if that experience is anything to go by, then we may see some price reduction in April and May. So That's what I was saying, that the price reduction that had been announced does not mean that there was no inflation. It only means that the rate at which prices were rising has been slowed. And for that matter, it is when it goes down significantly that we'll see a reflection in prices of goods and services. I think that is what we want.
Now, for many Ghanaians who are also asking, what exactly does this drop in inflation mean to them? What do you say to them?
Yeah, it is because to them, in reality, they have not seen changes in prices. So that is why they are asking the people, what is it? They have not seen it. They have not seen the deceleration in the price development. And so I think overall, when we have further reduction in inflation, then we may check to see whether it's really reflecting in price development. But now, no, that is what the people are talking about. They know that the transport fares are the same. They know that the tin of milk is the same price. So what is it that has been announced? That's their confusion.
So if we go to the market today, we expect that the prices of goods will drop. Is that the case?
No. As I said, inflation is a past experience. We are talking about March inflation. So that has been experienced already. And the people haven't seen prices changing. That is their concern.
In the scheme of things, so this is the inflation for March, 45% from 50.8 or so. We're coming down to April and possibly May.
Yeah.
Do we expect?
But note that the month-on-month inflation just came by 1.2 or so.
That's right. Are we to further expect it to go down? 1.2%. That was what dropped by what we have 52.8, and then now dropped to 45%. Are we to expect it to drop further?
Especially from food price inflation, that is expected to drop further. Bearing in mind that we have entered, some parts of the country already have entered, for some crops, have entered into the main season. So that would travel to August, and that will provide the reason for further reduction in the food prices.
Prof, I thank you very much for your time this morning. Grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's Professor John Gachi. He is with the UCC School of Business. Joining us also on Zoom is Dr. Joseph Obeng, is the president of GUTA. Doc, good morning. Thank you very much for your time.
Good morning, sir.
Doc, you're on record to say that prices should be adjusted to reflect the improving economic situation. What exactly did you mean when you said that?
Yeah. Inflation is a very bad thing for business, and it's not helping us at all. And when there's inflation or high cost of prices in the market, what it means is that we are unable to turn over. And businesses thrive on turnover, because if you even owe a bank and all that, you have to turn over, and then you'll be able to pay your debt at the bank. And so it's also very important that when we have the opportunity, we reduce prices. And I was saying that we should take advantage of the downward trend or the appreciation of the cedi to manage the inflation that we are having, because inflation is too much. And by so doing, I have fulfilled some solutions, saying that we should be able to sustain the appreciation of the cedi, and then also customs should revise their valuation rate to suit the current trend, rather than the high rate that they are using for the purposes of duty calculations. Then we have also called on Bank of Ghana to reduce the monetary policy rate drastically, so that businesses will be mitigated and have the respite, because cost of borrowing is too high, and it also compound the pricing of goods and services in the market. Then we have also said that, because you know that the inflation that we have is not a demand pool inflation, it's cost push. It's accumulation of all these costs, including the taxes that we pay, the duties and all that, the VAT and all that, that has made these prices very high. And that's including the interest rate, the commercial lending rate. And so we want that one also to be pruned down. Then we are also telling all stakeholders to manage unnecessary speculation around the forest. Because if we do speculation, sometimes the city loses its strength due to some of this speculation. So having said that, then we also said that the traders themselves also have a responsibility, that we should be able to adjust our prices positively with the new trends of the exchange, so that the prices will also come down to bring down the inflation that we are all calling to come down. And so here, the challenge that we have is that the importing community, those who are importers, the rare importers who exchange this money and bring the goods, are normally able to reduce their prices, and most of them have adjusted their prices positively. The challenge that normally the trading community have, and that is more the retail people, they are more in the market, and when they buy the goods at a higher price, when the dollar was high from the importers, if even the dollar goes down, because they still have the old stock, they are unable to reduce, because they will lose if they reduce it. You understand? Because they don't have anything to do with the dollar. And that has been the problem all this time. And that's why people say that when the exchange rate comes down, prices do not go down in the market, because most of our people do not go and buy from the wholesalers, and that's why. Yeah.
Doc, is it a statement of reality to say I bought my goods at, say, $12 in February, I have not run out of stock, and you want me to reduce my prices because inflation for March reduced? Is it a reality as a trader?
Yeah, it's a two-way something. Sometimes, like I've told you, the retailer is challenged seriously. The retailer, unless he has been able to sell the old stock, or sometimes we strike averages, because when you got it at a cheaper price and some of them you got it at a higher price, then because you also want to stay in competition, because those people who have gotten their goods at a lower price will start selling at a lower price. And so if care is not taken, you will not be able to even service your loan. And so you struck the reasonable averages with the new prices, with the old. And so, yes, if the indications, especially with the exchange rate, if it goes down, and then the prices start coming down, especially from the angle of the importers, and then the retailers buy the cheaper one, they sometimes also reduce to reflect the downward trend, and by striking these averages that I'm talking. If the person have not bought the new reduced prices, then the person have no option than to sell at the old price, because otherwise he will just lose his capital. So that's the dynamism in the market. Yeah.
The CD to dollar ratio is a big concern to especially Guta because of the importation issues. What do you say? Dollar looks like it's coming down in favor of the cedi, but what do you say?
Yeah, it's coming down, but then we should not be complacent because we can do better. And that's why we are calling all these measures that we have spelled out that government should be able to sustain. Because when the dollar goes up, it doesn't help the importing community at all, because the customs also increases the rate at which they charge us with the duty. And that's why even in my statement, we are also calling on customs to, as early as possible, readjust to the present trend of the exchange rate. Because when it goes up, they are quick to adjust. When it comes down, they are reluctant to also adjust because they think they will lose some revenue. But that is how it is, that they have to use the bank rate at any time to peg for the purposes of duty payment. And so when the duty goes up, yes, like we are saying, it doesn't help businesses. During last quarter of 2022, we lost a chunk of our capital. And that's why most people lost about 40-50% of their capitals. And if now we say that Tema Port is quite empty, it means that most of us are unable to buy the same volumes that we used to buy because of the depletion of our capital. And also the increase in duties because of the reversal of the benchmark values and the additional taxes that have been imposed on clearance and all that. And so if the person bring goods and is unable to clear, then what business has he to even import? And these are some of the things that is hindering against the growth of the trading community and even the manufacturing and then agro processing. Because you look at the food basket, mostly they use the agro product. But you see, you cannot disassociate the farming products from imported products. Because now they don't use the hoes like they used before. They use the weedicides, the agro, the pesticides and all that. And these are all imported. And if the farmer buys these imported goods at higher price, and then you go to the bank and borrow at the 40%, 45%, these are the things that is pushing prices. And it is so clear, and I find it difficult for people to understand this simple logic, that it is not by magic wand that will bring inflation, but what you should do is to bring down cost of doing business down, and it will reflect on even the agro, because the agro people, they are not for the Christmas. And then they don't use their bare hands to plant the food. They use imported materials which they buy at a cost, they borrow at a higher rate, and that they transfer all these things on that. And so it is so clear that cost of doing business is quite high, and that we have to prune it down if you want to bring inflation down. That's why I'm saying that we should take advantage of the downward trend of the dollar or the appreciation of the cedi to transform to make sure that we give some respite for the business community as well as the consuming public. Yeah.
Adjust prices to reflect improving economic situation. Who exactly were you speaking to?
No, I've told you, I've given a lot about four. I said that we should be able to sustain in order to, okay, let me tell you, we also wish to urge the government to continue with the efforts and take advantage of the reduction of the exchange rate to further reduce inflation and other costs of doing business in the country. This could be achieved by the following means: sustaining the appreciation of the cedi, adjusting customs valuation rate to reflect the current trend of the exchange rate, Bank of Ghana drastically reducing the monetary policy rate and give meaning to the gains, as well as give respite to the business community, and all stakeholders managing unnecessary speculation in order not to reverse the positive gains so far. And then I came to ourselves, the trading community themselves, that in the light of this, GUTA entreats all members of the business community to respond positively to the changing trend and adjust prices to reflect the exchange rate. So I was talking to ourselves that that's what we can also do to make sure that the inflation comes down. So it's a collective something that I'm talking about, and I was not directing to the government or anybody.
Dr. Joseph Abeng, thank you so much for your time this morning. We're grateful.
Thank you.
I will look for you one of these days, Doc. The way you have abandoned your junior brother is not good.
No, you can find me.
I know. Dr. Joseph Abeng is GUTA president, and he spoke to us this morning. We're grateful. Yeah. William,
yes,
you're laughing.
John,
my name is Johnny. It's not John.
Okay.
John, Johnny.
Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Johnny John.
No, I'm not Jerry.
You see, when we talk about economics or the economy, then we'll be talking about the politicians, the lecturers, GUTA people, but the economics.
It's in our pocket.
The word economics is derived from the Greek word or economia, which means household management.
Yeah, home economics.
Or management of house affairs. How people earn income and resources and how they spend them in their necessities, comforts, and luxuries. So
our wives are economists.
That's the thing. The economy starts from home. So if you not deal with it at your level, you create your own economy and you want a certain adudi to determine how you live. I say go back for the tips.
That's why I said, look at your dining table stuff.
Yeah.
That's your economy.
That's your economy.
Yeah.
That's your economy. Share. Master, if you do, you will come on the front page of the Daybreak newspaper.
I'll counter that at a later date because
it's a
let me tell you,
fact,
young people have a lot of thoughts about some of the the tactics that we have to employ. I think we all know that if you don't put your affairs in order today, there's a saying I like. They say present pain leads to permanent gain.
Exactly.
If you don't pinch now, you will pinch forever.
Yeah.
But when you are young, wild, and free,
and that's why we need to tell them.
Yeah,
we have a responsibility.
You need to know.
You must know.
You must know.
We're looking at our counterparts elsewhere. When they need a new phone, they don't have to fork out that cash straight up.
You go and buy iPhone 14. You even end up they add Pro Max.
When you don't even have a place to sleep. What is wrong with you?
Charlie.
No, these are facts.
Can we be calming down?
No. This fact, it pinches. No, and I say this because some of the things that we have to scrimp and save on it shouldn't be a luxury. It's too
Helen,
it's a pill that I don't want to swallow.
You should be backing what I'm saying because you come from a jurisdiction where people buy Pro Max, buy this, they don't have credit, they are thrown out of their mortgage house and they sleep on the streets.
Yeah, that is
true.
They
become homeless. That's the point. Because look, there's any family system that supported some of us. It's gone.
That's true.
Where you could walk into your auntie's house and eat everything, go to the kitchen and take soup, and today it's not there. So you must face the realities and make sure that you live according to your means. Cut your coat according to the cloth you have.
And that is a good point as well. The extended family that no longer
going.
I have the benefit of still enjoying that. I always say this. I have 100 cousins. To be honest, I don't think I'll ever be homeless. Because I can bounce around. We've lived together for many years as cousins. He pass here, you pass here. But for others, that type of cushioning
does
not
exist. Sacrifice to
educate
you people.
That is true.
That's why you can call on your cousins.
That's what we're talking about. That the grandfather did something.
You know. You don't sacrifice and educate yourself well.
You go see
your children. You think you can go to your unemployed cousin? What are you going to do there?
They are all employed.
The man himself is
looking at you. Cousins are suffering, brothers are suffering,
and
uncles are suffering,
and aunties are suffering, and sisters are suffering.
No, but I mean, all jokes aside, this story speaks to a certain direction that the youth must take. Because if you are committing suicide, that's the lowest point of life. You've come to the lowest. From there, you are going nowhere, but into the grave.
Means that you are seeing no help in sight. So
you see, and especially when you do some of these jobs that we do, and you put unnecessary pressure on yourself. There are people who are on radio and TV, and the real fact is that they are suffering.
Yeah.
These musicians, I know them, some of them.
Yeah.
And
We chat with them.
We chat with them.
So what we are
them.
seeing online is not a
Madam,
reality.
You know that some of the clothes that your people wear, the celebrities wear, they are all.
You have to return it.
Their bodies are billboards.
Adverts.
Their bodies are billboards.
Yeah.
If they take the billboard from you, you'll be hot.
No, that's true. And young people do have to look
They
at
must
that.
understand.
That's what I'm adding to that conversation. This one I can definitely agree that what you see online is an illusion. When I go on air, I tell the young girls, this outfit, it's most likely going back
Then
to
why are you
sender.
saying that you should eat pizza every
No,
day?
because at some point, not every day, guys, but maybe once every 2 weeks.
Do you know the cost of cement?
I haven't actually even bought
Cement is
pizza.
105 and pizza is 120.
20.
What are you telling me?
What are you
and in 10 years,
what are you building?
What are you
But
building?
William and Johnny, and they say,
and in 10 years,
is it meant to one cement block in face?
No, why not? Why not?
Are you building calories or
you are
building?
building houses. Look, Nana Kwame Bediakum, Cheddar, I know him very well. The guy has worked, the young guy.
Yeah.
Christmas, he'll be organizing a nightclub. He was selling scrap. His family was good. I was in the same house with his brother, Kweku Bediakum.
Right.
I'm saying this on air so that people will know that it is not just a flight.
Right.
You know what I mean? So look,
Not a
despite
sudden
has sold
flight.
at a UTC, hustling, cassette.
Yes.
Somebody, you think you'll be buying promos when you don't have money, and you are all over
pizza.
the place
You are
wasting
chilling.
time.
Because others too are still selling cassettes.
Oh, that.
Oh no, but at least what they will eat, what they will eat, what they will eat. But that's life. That's life.
Money.
That's
build,
life.
you build.
You think you and I are sitting here just because the board and the management they like us? Because we've worked in the past and they've seen what you can do, and that's what they brought you here.
Yes.
But if you come into the business and you're all over, we are not working here, you think they will give you this thing?
I think we should organize some financial advice.
William, be calming down. Be calming down.
So
No,
can we agree we can get some financial advice maybe soon for all of us?
This one,
It's not just
this one,
financial,
it be
no.
common sense.
Common sense.
conversation.
Oh, shit. You think it's common for everybody?
But the economy, I explained. What is the economy? It's for
But
Some people don't know.
manage yourself.
Don't know the 1+1 and the 2+2.
You don't have money.
Yeah.
You can't buy food.
Yeah.
Then you go and buy AC, buy iPhone.
Eh?
What are you doing?
And these days, every
Strategy.
young person wants to have AC in his room
Hey, the
against this
weather is
electricity
hot.
bill.
The weather too is
You
hot.
don't know how people have sweated.
Lawyer Mahama will come for you for his
Young
AC
people
bills.
here, bro, you see AC in the crying fresh air. Ow.
Charlie. Yeah, Charlie. No, I mean, we have to sacrifice.
The global economy as we know it, as it existed pre-COVID, today does not really exist anymore. Emerging market access to the capital markets has been very restricted and may continue to be restricted for the foreseeable future. And more, we are seeing economies rethinking economic strategies, but there is a clear move towards more self-reliance in economic policy. And at the same time, this global economic environment is transitioning into the fourth industrial revolution, where the digital economy is taking center stage. So as we try to deal with the economic crisis globally, economies also have to reposition themselves to partake in the fourth industrial revolution. In Ghana specifically, we are dealing with an economic crisis that we have to address in different dimensions. The first and most important, which affects the confidence that we have in the economic system, is to make sure that we have fiscal and debt sustainability. This has been one of the areas where we are having discussions with and negotiations with the International Monetary Fund about. Restoring fiscal and debt sustainability, no doubt, is not going to be easy. It will require very bold, difficult, but firm decisions.
Fortune rice. It needs just a little water. The green stone stick and the aroma and taste are Delicious. Fortune rice. Always on point. Just like mom.
Now introducing Fortune Emuka, your tasty Ghana rice for all your rice meals.
This advert is FDA approved.
Just like mom.
Do you need money to start